37th lecture of the Semantic SEO course. In this specific lecture, we will be talking about the macro and the micro semantics together with the supplementary and the main content, and slightly we will talk about the micro semantics at the end. So when you look at this specific H1, we directly reflect our macro context and also our central entity and the central search intent in our H1, which will be processed further with our context terms and also specific context signifier, which is health or the health benefits. And when you look at the incrementally ordered heading list in this area, you will realize that these two sections are directly a whole, and this is our macro context reflection as an H1, and this is our main content which continuously process the macro context. Then the first heading that appears after our incrementally ordered heading list, it is a bridge and also border between the macro context and main content and micro contexts and the supplementary content. So we ask our specific question, the most important question for this specific content. Most of the time when you look at the SEOs, when they see this type of a volume and this type of queries that repeat or includes certain types of words with just different order or the combinations, they put this question directly to the H1 like that. But as you see here, I have put it just after my actual list, because as I say, for the new websites, you should be creating less pages, which means that I will need to actually unite two different contexts. Do you see here? When you look at our query structure, you will realize that the targeted web source, the source that we are trying to decrease the authority, as you see, it is actually ranking mainly for this. And this is main target. This one is just a target for this specific contextual term or domain. And when you look at here, we ask this question in this area, and we directly focus on this in our actually macro context. And in this part, like how much water you should be drinking or some other types of questions, all these things are actually processed in this specific part too. For instance, after how much water, we specifically see these benefits. After how much percentage of daily intake, we can see that oxygen to cell is actually increased. And or when we look at the kidney stones, how much water do we need? So we directly reflect this specific question's context continuously in our macro context, and we ask this specific question as a border and a bridge. When you look at the further questions in this area, you will see that we are using actually Boolean questions, and inside these Boolean questions, we are actually focusing on certain types of contextual layers, like before sleep, before dinner, or during the dinner. And if we continue further, then we are asking what are the benefits of drinking a gallon of water every day. So this section is important because here you will realize that we change our phrase taxonomy a little bit, and also the benefits will be changing as well, because here we focus on the amount of water in terms of health benefits rather than the activity, which is drinking water. So we slightly focus on a little bit minor context there, and that's why, since it is a sub-context, we directly actually use anchor text for it, and it is in the supplementary content. Or how to avoid dehydration, which is opposite of drinking water, and since it is an antonym context, we directly put it to the bottom. What are the symptoms of drinking too much water, which is again an antonym for dehydration, and we put it to the end and we ask it one more time. Another thing is, if you have a number inside your heading, if you are able to use antonym of your context here and the supplementary content, I will suggest you to use another number directly in your anchor text too. But for other types of situations, you can, if it doesn't appear that much inside the queries, you can sometimes skip the number section, but most of the time from a numeric value content to the numeric value article, a link, if it especially appears in the queries with numeric values, it helps for further ranking. So basically we have always a macro context and micro context. Macro context is processed in the main content. Micro context has been processed in the supplementary content. Between main and the supplementary content, we always have a border. When we choose a source to decrease overall authority, we get its context terms and the terms that it is able to rank to the actual beginning part, but we also reflect our main target for this specific query network during the macro context and also inside the bridge as well. And at the same time, when you look at this specific section, you will realize that there are certain types of internal links. We don't link in this area because this is the macro context. Most of the time, I use fewer internal links and I use the most important internal links inside the main content and I put a distance after that. And if you check this area too, this part, you will realize that we use a single H2 after our main content and the macro context. Then anything that else that come after that, they are actually like H3, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3. So which means that this is a bridge and also a root and the roof for actual entire supplementary content. And whenever we go lower in the hierarchy, we increase the internal link amount from the bottom. If you remember the drawings from the paint, it will be helpful in this area. So to make everything a little bit further clear, we will be focusing on heading hierarchy and the anchor text in the future lectures as well. Thank you.